Okay, so trading, right? It's a wild ride. Ups, downs, sometimes you're just holding on.
It really is.
Like some people just get it, like they've got this knack,
Uh-huh.
and you're stuck on that roller coaster.
Yeah.
Well, today's deep dive, we're tackling that. We're talking trading psychology, the mental game.
Specifically, we're diving into The Disciplined Trader
Mm.
by Mark Douglas. Seriously, if you want to understand the psychology of trading, this book is it,
It's like the Bible almost, right?
pretty much.
And you know what I find really interesting? Douglas doesn't come at this from some, detached theoretical standpoint. He lived it.
Oh, absolutely. He was in the trenches.
He moved to Chicago, wanted to be a trader. People even warned him, like, hey, trading under financial stress, it messes with your head.
It's that classic story,
Mm.
the dream of quick riches. You can outsmart the market. It's seductive.
But, and Douglas learned this the hard way, it can backfire spectacularly. He lost it all. Savings, Porsche, apartment, gone.
It's often in those moments of complete loss,
Yeah.
when you're forced to confront your choices. That's where real change can happen.
It's like the universe forcing you to hit reset. And that's what's so powerful about his book. It's not just theory, it's born from experience, from hard lessons.
Absolutely. And one of the most fundamental things he talks about is this. The market does not care about your personal beliefs.
It's so easy to get caught up in our own heads, right? My analysis is right. The market has to go up.
Right, but the market doesn't care. It's indifferent.
Like this giant, unstoppable force just doing its own thing.
Exactly. And trying to force your will on it to predict every move based on your limited view. That's a recipe for disaster.
So if the market doesn't care about our beliefs, what does it care about? What drives it?
Think of it this way. The market is just a reflection of what everyone else is doing, all those traders, their beliefs, their biases, their fears, all mixed together.
So it's not about finding the right answer. It's more about understanding the collective
Mm.
mood almost.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes the reasons behind market movements are totally irrelevant.
Wait, irrelevant? Don't things happen for a reason? Like news comes out, the market reacts.
There are always factors. Economic data, news, company announcements.
Mm.
But traders, we don't always act rationally. We act on gut feelings, on perceptions, on beliefs, even if they're not logical.
So you mean we might think we're being all calculated, but really we're just reacting?
Often, yeah. And to illustrate this, Douglas tells this great story in his book. Imagine a guy on a street corner, sign says free money. He's got stacks of cash, literally offering it to people. What do you
Okay.
think happens?
I'd be taking that free money. Who wouldn't?
You'd be surprised. Most people just walked by. Some gave him suspicious looks even.
Seriously, that's wild.
Right. But it shows how ingrained our beliefs are. The belief that there's no such thing as a free lunch was so strong, people couldn't even see the opportunity right in front of them.
So if our beliefs can blind us to, like, actual free money, imagine how much more powerful they are when there's risk involved.
Exactly. And in trading, there's always risk.
Always.
We bring all our baggage, our fears about money, past experiences, good and bad. It all comes into play.
It's like we're playing against the market, but also against ourselves, in a way.
That's a great way to put it. And Douglas argues that's often what sabotages us.
We get so fixated on winning, on not losing, even on getting revenge on the market,
Right.
that we actually create a self-fulfilling prophecy. We make it more likely we'll fail.
He has this analogy about memories. He compares them to energy, positive or negative. And that energy, it influences how we see the world, how we react. It's like we carry these invisible forces pushing us forward or holding us back.
I can totally relate to that feeling, like being pulled in different directions when I'm about to make a trade.
It's natural. That pressure is part of the game.
But if you don't understand it, if you don't know how to deal with it,
It leads to bad decisions, impulsive trades, a cycle of what Douglas calls random winning and random losing.
random, but winning is random sometimes, isn't it? I mean, luck plays a role.
Sure, luck's a factor, but think of it this way. You make a trade on a gut feeling, haven't really done your research, and it works out. You made money, but you don't really know WHY.
So next time you see a similar setup, you're like, this is it. I've got this figured out.
And you jump in, thinking it's a sure thing, but it was just luck, not skill. So in the long run, you're more likely to lose.
And those losses hurt even more because you didn't learn anything.
Exactly. You're gambling, not trading, no system. just hoping for the best.
Which is, yikes, not a sustainable strategy. So how do we get out of that cycle? How do we create structured discipline in our trading?
Douglas is big on having trading rules, clearly defined. But it's not enough to just have them. You have to follow them religiously, even when it's hard.
Which, let's be real, is really tough when you're in the moment, emotions are high, the numbers are jumping around on the screen.
Absolutely. It takes effort and practice. Remember how Douglas learned his lesson? Losing everything. That forced him to take a hard look at himself, at how he was trading,
Right, it's like that wake-up call to be honest with yourself about what's not working.
and to realize self-discipline isn't about being restrictive. It's about empowering yourself, making rational choices even when it's hard.
It's about the why behind the rules,
Yeah,
not just blindly following something.
exactly. And to get to that level, Douglas talks about forced awareness. Sounds intense, right?
A little bit, yeah. What does that even mean?
It's about shining a light on the stuff we do unconsciously, the beliefs, the behaviors that are messing us up, even if we don't realize it. Brutal honesty with yourself about your role in your own results.
Like holding up a mirror to your trading. Even the messy parts.
Exactly. It can be uncomfortable, but that's where the growth happens. You start seeing those hidden patterns that might be holding you back.
It's so important because if we're just reacting, not really in control.
We become slaves to our emotions, impulsive decisions, costly mistakes. It's gambling, not trading.
So how do we make that shift? From emotional trading to disciplined trading, how do we gain control?
One of the best tools, a trading journal. But not just entries and exits, it's deeper than that. Write down your thoughts, your feelings, before, during, after each trade.
Interesting, like a journal for your emotional well-being, but for trading.
Exactly. Are there setups that make you overconfident? Things that trigger fear or anxiety? Do you chase losses when you're stressed?
It's about making those connections, emotions and decisions.
Yes. Once you see the patterns, you can manage those emotions better.
So we've talked about beliefs, about shifting from fear to abundance, seeing opportunities, but how do we actually do that? It's easy to say think positive, but when you're about to risk real money, fear creeps in.
Oh, absolutely. Positive thinking alone isn't enough. You have to act. Douglas actually says acting is part of how you change your beliefs. He calls it acting in spite of fear. Key part of discipline.
So even if you're nervous, if the trade fits your plan, you got to just do it.
Exactly. Every time you act in line with your goals, even if it feels uncomfortable, you're reinforcing that. Weakening the old beliefs that hold you back. It's like you're creating a new pathway in your brain, one paved with confidence.
Love that visual, rewiring your brain. So it's not about being fearless, it's about building confidence by actually doing it consistently.
Exactly. That new way of thinking, acting, it becomes stronger, more natural. Trading with clarity, resilience, it gets easier.
This reminds me, we talked about the market being a reflection of everyone's beliefs. What if, and this is kind of wild, what if more traders got this, became more disciplined, self-aware?
Now that's a thought, isn't it? Imagine a market where most people are using logic, strategy, managing risk, understanding their own psychology, instead of just fear and greed driving everything.
That would be a completely different game.
Totally. And that's, I think, what's so important about Douglas's work. It's not just about personal success. It's about potentially changing the whole system, making it more rational, more ethical even.
So to wrap up our deep dive here, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from the disciplined trader?
You can't control the market, but you can control your mind. That's your real power. Understand yourself, your emotions, and you can thrive in any market.
It's not about predicting the future. It's about being ready for anything.
Exactly. Becoming the master of your own trading destiny.
And if enough of us do that, who knows what we could achieve? Definitely something to think about. And for a deeper dive, check out The Disciplined Trader. Seriously, it's a must-read.